Hey guys, how you doing? I wanted to create a short little video because I had a couple of people on Instagram direct message me about how to use the coping wrappers in Bentech. So I'm going to use a little tube stroller buggy that I'm designing for my daughter as an example here. So let me pull this up. This is the buggy. It's a bit of an overkill for a 4-month-old daughter, but nonetheless. So what I'm going to do here for the example is I'm going to add an X between these two parallel bars. I'm going to add a simple little X right here and walk you through it. So because the software already knows where these 4 points are at, we've already identified these 4 points. For our example of adding an X right here, all we have to do is go into straight part, click on that, and connect the dots. So the first tube is going to go from this corner to this corner, and as you can see, we've got a straight tube there. The second one, hit straight again, it's going to go from this corner. And as you can see, Bentech, when we created that first tube, it automatically enters a new pick point in the center of that tube. And so all we have to do is select the center of that first tube and then do the same thing for here on the lower side of this X, connect it in the center, and there you go. We have an X. Now, what we don't have yet is the coping wrappers for these 3 tubes. And so let's do that now. So we go up here into the cutting tab and hit new cut. So let's start on the first tube, new cut, and let me zoom in here. Excuse me. You select this first tube and then you select the tubes that will create the cutting profile. So as you can see, these 2 tubes are creating the coping profile for our new tube here. So hit complete and you can see the profile that it creates. So let's do that on the end of this tube. So go back up here, new cut. Select the 2 that create the coping profile, hit complete. Do that again for the second tube. This is the tube we want to cope. That's the coping profile on the start. Complete, new cut. This tube, and we're going to select the center tube because we're going to cope it into that tube. So hit complete. Got one more left. There and there. Complete. Complete. So there you have it. There is our new tubes. From it's 53 start and end, 54 start and end, 55 start and end. So once you have these coping wrappers, or once you have these coped, I should say, you can go into this details. So I'm on 53 start. It's this coping wrapper. Hit details. Let me zoom in here. This is the coping wrapper details that Bentech is spitting out at us, and we'll use this. You'll print this out on your computer and we'll use this when I get in the garage. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to hit print right now, but I'll see you in the garage in the next video and I'll show you what to do with this. So, see you in a bit. So before we head to the garage, we actually need to gather the information that we're going to need to cut these tubes to length, in addition to the coping wrappers themselves. So what we do is let's go over here to the parts tab, and when you're on the parts tab, if you just select any of these parts, it'll sort of take you right to the tube that you want to print the data for. So let's start with that first one. You can see it's let me zoom in here. It's highlighted red. So let's click on that and you can see it's straight 53. So straight 53 has a length of 17 and 9/16 inches. So you can either write that down and go to the garage or your work area and cut your material to 17 and 9/16, or you can transfer this to a straight part. So you go up here to the transfer tab, straight part, and it will, you can, control print, and it'll print a data sheet that will have this information on it. It'll give you your cut length, your material, the weight, if you have that inputted into your die library or material library. Sorry. So for this example, we're just going to, let's just write this stuff down. So I'm going to say 17 and 9/16 is this main tube. And then, let's see, straight 54 is 8 and 13/16, and straight 55 is 8 and 13/16. So we've got our 3 tubes, and we know how long we need to cut each one. So once we have that, then, like I said before, you go to the cutting wrappers, details, and print these details out. And then we'll have everything that we need when we get to the garage to create these tubes.